Okay, so it's his fourth. But you know what they say, fourth time's the charm. Well, here's the problem. Your tires are as bald as I am. But lucky for you, eBay Motors has tires for just about every make and model. Plus wheels, lug nuts, jack stands, and more. 122 million parts. Do they have tissues? Oh, good, because I'm definitely a crier. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
I'm Christine Lisi. At least 10 people were shot by a gunman today on a Brooklyn subway about 2 miles from where the Nets will host the Cavaliers in an NBA play-in game tonight. Police are still searching for the shooter. The winner of tonight's game will take 7th in the East and meet the Celtics in round 1 of the playoffs. The loser plays the winner of tomorrow's Hawks-Hornets matchup for the 8th seed in a playoff series with the Heat. Also tonight, Timberwolves host the Clippers. Whether it's Minnesota or LA that wins and claims the 7th seed in the West, Memphis will make quick work of them in round 1, believes ESPN's Tim Legler.
I really don't think either one of these teams win more than one game against the Memphis Grizzlies. And this is a team that is so complete. They're young, they're tough, they're aggressive, they've got great balance, and they've got guys that are just flat out better offensive players than we thought they would be at the NBA level.
ESPN NBA analyst Tim Legler, the loser of tonight's game, plays the winner of tomorrow's Spurs-Pelicans matchup for 8th and a meeting with the Suns. More on these stories throughout the day on ESPN Radio and the 6 Eastern Sports Center on ESPN TV.
The new Venture X card from Capital One. Earn 10x miles on hotels and rental cars and 5x miles on flights when you book through Capital One Travel, plus 2x miles on all other purchases. Capital One. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
In the heart of Beer City, USA. 2 men, 1 journey. Unfiltered, raw, and honest. One of them played a soccer goalie opposite Ben Stiller. The other once scored 6 points on Steph Curry.
For you over the 3 days of the NFL draft. We've got individual team-by-team content continuing to go out on the YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, what are you waiting on? It's your one-stop shop for all things NFL draft. And, of course, our live stream here every weekday afternoon. Sportsocracy.com. Click on the live video link. Hit subscribe. That gets you into the chat. And it's also a big week because we're going to crown a champion this week. In the most overrated bands bracket, Rolling Stones versus Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band today. Who's more overrated between those two? The winner, quote-unquote winner, will move on to face U2 in the finals. It's also a big week because we've got women's tennis coming up at the Harris-Cherokee Center, Asheville, Friday and Saturday. We've got the U.S. hosting the Ukraine in the qualifier of the 2022 Billie Jean King Cup. And, of course, we will have we will have all of your pregame coverage of that. And you can get tickets today at usta.com/BJKC. We'll be talking to Melissa Level of Ingles Supermarkets coming up on Thursday afternoon to talk about all that they are doing down at the Harris-Cherokee Center, Asheville, for this event. Ingles also going to be making a donation to help with the Ukraine relief efforts. Billie Jean King herself will be in town for the opening ceremonies on Friday night. She's going to be making a donation as well. We're all about helping helping out our worldly neighbors from the Ukraine with the Billie Jean King Cup qualifier coming up at the Harris Cherokee Center, Asheville. Again, tickets, usta.com/BJKC. Now, Jeremy, one thing that has been sticking out to me in the last couple of days, did you see this interview that Dabo Swinney did with ESPN where he was playing my role? My role of you just stand outside and yell at clouds. Just yelling at clouds. And it's all about the transfer portal and the name, image, and likeness stuff. You've been warning me since we began this of it's going to get out of control.
Oh, and I'm more right than I could have ever thought I was going to be.
Absolutely. You are more right than you ever thought you could be.
LSU's basketball team currently has 0 players.
Right.
I mean, theoretically they have 1, but the paperwork hasn't gone in for the NC State transfer that just went down there.
Right, Cam Hayes.
Do you realize how ludicrous that is? They have no players.
It's crazy.
They're all either in the NBA draft, the transfer portal, or both.
Mm-hmm. It's absolutely crazy. I mean, we've got so at the beginning of the transfer portal process, you know, the open season, I don't know what we're going to call this. This is this is now the silly season for college sports. When it opened up for college football, there were 3,000 players in the transfer portal. Right now in college basketball, what did Jones say the other day? Did he say 1,400?
Mm-hmm.
1,400 players? I know it's over 1,000 in the transfer portal. This is what people like me had been asking for years. Was if coaches have the ability to move, you got the freedom of movement, then the players should have the freedom of movement as well. And I will admit, I mean, it's gotten a little crazy.
A little?
A little crazy. It's gotten
by the way, Patrick
crazy.
Holt just clarified, NC State doesn't have any players either.
Oh,
it's all walk-ons.
Yeah.
I mean, you realize how absolutely preposterously stupid this is, right?
You don't, you know, it's all about your program. How much stability can you build in your program?
Nobody has stability. Yeah, you name me who has stability. Look at the teams that were in the Final Four.
Mm-hmm.
Carolina has more than anybody in it by a wide margin.
More what?
Stability. And you could lose half of your team.
Yeah.
And you're just fine with that.
This
fine.
is the business now. This is the business that we've now created.
Well, it can't survive this way. If you enjoy college basketball, college football, you better be rooting for something because this ain't going to work. It is painful for me to say I agree with Dabo Swinney on anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't agree with him on all of it, but I see where this is headed, and he ain't wrong.
Well, Dabo did an interview with ESPN, and when he was asked about the transfer portal, well, actually, he brought up the transfer portal in the interview, saying that we're not going to play the transfer portal game. We're not going to build a roster on the transfer portal, which that's fine. If you can still tread water, and Clemson does way more than just tread water in the college football world. I mean, they had a bad season this year and won 10 games.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, treading water maybe not the right thing for me to say there, but he said we're not going to do it. We're not going to build a team on transfers. He says even if we do sign a transfer, which everybody's going to have to play the game at some point, you're going to have a hole on your team. You know, you need a starting right guard. Well, guess what? You could probably go and find one in the transfer portal. You don't want to bring in a greenhorn. You don't want to bring in a freshman to fill that starting role, so you can go to the transfer portal to get that. But what he's saying is he's not going to have a program that his team is primarily built off of the transfer portal because, frankly, Dabo Swinney disagrees with the transfer portal.
And to be honest with you, most of the good teams are not built on it. They're augmented by it.
True. Augmented by it, but some play the game better than others. You know, look at Baylor and their basketball team. I mean, nobody plays the transfer portal like Scott Drew. He's
certainly up there.
Right. He has built contender after contender for the last, 3-4 years? Mainly built on transfers. So they're not going to do that. I mean, you look at Alabama. Alabama had 3 all-conference transfers last year to help them try to win a national championship. Thanks to my Georgia Bulldogs, that didn't happen. But you've got that news as well with Georgia. You have all of these 5-star recruits that aren't getting playing time, and Georgia's got like 10 guys, I believe, off of their football team in the transfer portal right now. I just wonder if Dabo Swinney's stubbornness is going to get him into trouble.
Because he's right. He's looking around. Look, Dabo knows unequivocally he does not have the Lincoln Riley path out of town because he's not an NFL coach.
Mm-hmm.
I know that rumor comes up about every 2 years, and it's every bit as stupid now as it was then. He's not an NFL coach.
No, he completely.
But he's looking around at his bread and butter going, the house is on fire, and nobody seems to care.
Mm-hmm.
Since the name, image, and likeness thing happened, do you know what the commonality of every finals in football and basketball have in common?
What's that?
The ratings have gone down. You had 4 Blue Bloods in the Final Four this year.
Mm-hmm.
Championship game, lost to Virginia, Texas Tech from 2 years ago. That's not a coincidence. It's not. You can build basketball already has the problem of you can't build emotional attachments.
Right.
So that's the reason that number's been going down for years.
Right. I mean, the one and done sparked that.
It certainly didn't help.
But it's gotten worse and worse every year because you still had a core of guys. I mean, I have to hear this from my dad all the time. He's a dyed-in-the-wool Tar Heel fan, and he's just, I can't get an emotional attachment to any of these guys because I don't know them. They haven't been around long enough. And there are very few times where you're going to have a guy like Brady Manick come in and be so good from the start that you'll open up to him sooner. We feel like, or at least I do, feel like Brady Manick's been around for a while. No, he's been around for 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
He's a one and done, out the door. It's hard to build a relationship with a team in college football or college basketball when you don't have that connection. I understand that. And that's going to hurt your viewership. That's going to hurt the eyeballs.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't see how this is so hard for people to see.
I don't think it's hard for people to see. It's just...
because they're saying, but it's got to be fair. They got to be able to make money. I'll be honest with you. I've gotten to the point, I don't care about the money.
Right.
I don't care.
Well,
the NIL thing, I could care less.
Mm-hmm.
It has not been an obvious problem yet. So, okay, I'll let that roll until it becomes the problem that I 100% foresee it being.
Right.
That's just going to take a couple years to manifest itself. This transfer portal thing is stupid.
Well, and the NIL thing has already started to manifest itself.
Oh, but not to the level it's going to.
No,
give it 3 years.
Yeah.
Let the incoming freshman class that Texas A&M just bought, recruited, wait till they're seniors and see what this looks like. And it's very easy for people to say, that's not a problem when you pull for Clemson, Carolina, Georgia, on and on and on. These big level schools.
Right.
Every single year. And I'm telling you this as the draft guy, I'm watching the deterioration of the middle tier.
Mm-hmm.
So we started our A+ mock drafts, which is basically where I control your team, and this is what I would do if I had your picks and who you would wind up with. Those come out starting at 6 o'clock this afternoon with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I went through and looked at how many small school players do I actually have on the board. Top 300 players.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how many players at quote-unquote small schools, which is basically everything below the MAC?
Okay.
So take out the Sun Belt, the MAC. You're getting into like Jacoby Durant at South Carolina State.
Right.
Joshua Williams at Fayetteville State. 300 players.
Mm-hmm.
I have 9 of them total. First year I did this, I had 50.
Mm-hmm.
That's and I didn't always do a top 300, so I think you're 7 years out.
Mm-hmm.
You've cut it down to nothing because all of those players end up at a bigger school.
Right.
There is almost no, hey, look, this guy came out of nowhere left. Basketball is completely irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
Look at a mock draft of the 60 players that are going in the NBA draft. You know what they all have in common? They either go to Gonzaga, Duke, Michigan, There's not a whole lot of, hey, that kid from Mercer. Those days are over.
Oh, yeah. And that's part of the point that Dabo was making in his interview with ESPN. I mean, first off, he says, we're not going to use transfers. He says, because that would mean we're doing a poor job as scouts. If we're immediately...
Which is not untrue.
No, it's not untrue at all. It's one of the truest statements he's ever said, which I love Dabo Swinney. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to go on a bashing spree here of Dabo Swinney. But when he said, we're not doing our job as scouts if we're going to sign this group of recruits and then immediately turn around and go to the transfer portal and tell those guys that you're not good enough. I agree with what he says. Then he was asked, of course, after that about NIL and how that changed football. And he says, there's no guidance, there's no rules to any of this, and all of it takes away from the educational experience of the players.
Well, the educational experience is comical.
Oh, I agree.
That's comical, and if you're wanting me to be on your side here, which I firmly am, that's not the path to go down. That student-athlete term has been the biggest oxymoron ever for 15 years. Mm-hmm. I think I went to more classes than Ben Simmons did at LSU.
Yes, you did.
I mean, I've told
this
that
week,
joke
actually.
Today. Yeah. I'm actually in currently more classes than Ben Simmons ever went to at LSU.
Well, he says it takes away from the educational experience, and of course, people are going to, people will twist that and turn that and say, oh, look, here's Dabo Swinney. And that's what Dabo really believes. The thing that I've always respected about Dabo Swinney is that he comes out and he's got all these great sayings and stuff, but that's who he is. He actually believes all of this stuff. And again, not taking shots, I'm just curious if Clemson's going to be in a tough position in a few years with recruiting.
No.
With the name, image, and likeness stuff. If you're not embracing this, what are young athletes coming out of high school going to think?
He's not struggling with athletes out of high school. I can just tell you that much.
Not yet. But once it manifests itself, as you said.
Nothing of this has been a problem for Dabo. None of it. Now, the person that should avoid saying things like this, Lincoln Riley. You should probably not say this because half of your team is built on transfers.
Right.
Dabo, as long as he's killing it in recruiting, which, by the way, he has been, and will continue to, none of that's a problem. None of that's a problem. However, I'm going to say something that I will wager 75% of the people that listen to this show, whether you're willing to say it out loud or not, you will probably shout amen at your radio by the time I'm done. Mm-hmm. We live in a society where people have been emboldened that every stupid thing that comes to your brain is an intelligent thought. I told you from the jump, this is a horrid idea.
You did.
But the coaches can leave anytime they want to. They also have buyouts. That's what nobody ever seemed to want to acknowledge. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they can leave anytime they want, and it usually costs 8 figures for them to get out. You want to go down this path? More power to you. You're not going to like how that goes. So this was one of those ideas like dealing with children. Children don't want to eat their vegetables. Okay, well, what's your solution? Well, I don't want to. Why? Because I don't like them. Okay, well, how are you going to get your vitamins? I don't know. End of argument. This was the NIL argument, the transfer portal argument, all of it. Mm-hmm. But because we live in this society where everybody has been emboldened that every stupid thing that comes to your mind is invariably an intelligent idea, we went with it. And so now we've done this and done this and done this and done this. And now you have these medium to small schools that cannot keep players in school. Mm-hmm. If they're any good, and I'll be honest with you, probably the bottom, I'll say 60% of D1 college basketball programs, all you are is a farm system for the bigger boys. That's it. Because if it works, they're going to leave and go somewhere bigger.
Right.
If it doesn't work, you're stuck with them. Mm-hmm. Like, there's no way out. That was always the convex of this. Okay, you want all this lateral movement. Okay, then give me a way out of your scholarship. Give me a way out of your NIL deal. When you're a train wreck and we've paid you, okay, let me pull that. Mm-hmm. Let me pull that, and now you have to figure out where you go. But nobody wants to do that. You can't have one without the other, because when you do, you have the pandalarium that you got right now.
And that, my friends, is exactly the point that Dabo got to later in the ESPN interview. We'll tell you the rest of what he said coming up next right here on ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Still a chance for a couple of showers here as we head through this evening. Otherwise, look for partly to mostly cloudy skies here tonight. Temperatures drop down into the upper part of the 50s. We'll be in and out of the clouds on Wednesday. It'll be breezy and unseasonably mild. South winds gusting to 10 to 20 miles per hour at times. Tomorrow, highs mid-70s. Chance of showers again Wednesday night into Thursday. Even a few rumbles of thunder. Highs Thursday mid-60s. I'm meteorologist Ken Boone at the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. If April is showering your company with open job positions, check out Indeed. Their all-in-one hiring platform makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates all in one place. Sponsor your first job today and get hiring by visiting Indeed.com/credit.
The job market is competitive right now, so you need to be competitive to attract top talent. If you're trying to fill open positions at your business, iHeartMedia is here to help. Use radio and digital targeting to find fresh, passive candidates currently in the workforce. These candidates are listening right now, looking for new opportunities. Together, we can let the community know you're hiring. Visit iHeartAdvertising.com. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
Another prescription, another surgery, here we go again. But the joint pain is still here.
The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over, expecting a different result. Try something new that can lead you to a better life.
Football champion Emmitt Smith's talking about QC Kinetics, all-natural, non-invasive alternatives to surgery and harmful pain medications.
I tried to avoid as many of those things as possible because I did not want to get hooked on pain meds. I didn't want those things to hamper my life.
Patients across the country are saying no to pain meds and discovering QC Kinetics all-natural, biologic, long-lasting solutions to pain relief. Regenerative treatments that help your body restore damaged tissue and get rid of the pain.
The natural biologics that QC Kinetics is providing you gives your body a chance to naturally heal itself.
End the cycle of pain meds and avoid surgery.
Call QC Kinetics, 826-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. QC Kinetics, 828-333-9517.
Hi, I'm Chad Greenway. After retiring from the NFL, I've embraced my new role coaching my kids in their youth sports. Our Youth Basketball Association made the decision to use trusted coaches to train, screen, and educate all of our basketball coaches. Visit trustedcoaches.org to learn more. I'm a trusted coach. Are you?
Hey, I'm Miles Gray.
And I'm Jack O'Brien, and we want to tell you about our new podcast,
Miles and Jack got Mad Boosties, an NBA podcast from iHeartRadio. This is a weekly podcast about all the amazing moments that keep NBA fans coming back for more.
Basically, if you love basketball and you like to laugh, listen to Miles and Jack Got Mad Boosties, an NBA podcast on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
DQ presents How to Know If Spring Has Sprung. Step 1. Stop by DQ and order from the new Spring Treat Collection. Step 2. Grab a fruity blast dip cone, poolside punch, twisty misty, s'more shake, or any of the colorful treats at DQ. Step 3. Declare spring has indeed sprung and repeat steps 1 and 2 all season long. You know how to do it. So get your spring started today with the new Spring Treat Collection only at DQ. Happy tastes good.
At Ingles, we know your closest companions are the ones who are always there for you. The ones you trust to have your back, no matter what. Who make the hard times a little softer, and the good ones, somehow, a little better.
This week at Ingles, select sizes and varieties Kellogg's Townhouse or Club Crisp crackers, 2 for $5. Select sizes and varieties Starbucks coffee, $7.98 each. And select sizes and varieties General Mills cereal, 2 for $5. Ingles, low prices, love this.
Bunny song. I had to play it for you in honor of Easter coming up this week. The Rolling Stones.
Never be your Easter bunny.
The Rolling Stones taking on Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band today in the most overrated bands bracket. We are down to the last 3. We've got one finalist already. U2 has moved on to the final round.
Feels like the juggernaut of this tournament.
And the Rolling Stones face the boss today, and you can cast your vote in the YouTube stream. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click on that live video link. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can vote and get into the chat. We're talking about Dabo Swinney doing this interview with ESPN, where he had a lot to say about the transfer portal, name, image, and likeness, and what's to come for college sports. And the thing is, he's completely against the professionalization of college athletes.
Yep, and I don't care about that.
You don't care about that at all?
I don't care about that.
Once you're paying them, what is their responsibility beyond that? His interview started to go down that path of, okay, and here's the quote, kids don't know what they don't know. It's a slippery slope if you professionalize college athletics, and now you've got salaries and taxes, and you can fire kids on the spot, and they've got to pay for their tuition, and they pay for their housing and everything else. Athletic directors would sign up for that in a heartbeat, and they'd save a lot of money doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes on to say, where is this going? To a complete blow-up. A complete blow-up of college sports where you're going to have 40 to 50 programs that are going to be run by a separate commissioner. They're going to be separate rules because those are the only ones that can play the game. He said you can look at Clemson and Georgia State. The needs of those two programs and the issues that those two programs are dealing with are completely different. But somehow we've got the same set of rules for everybody. So it's got to come to the point where this whole thing just gets blown up.
He's 100% right.
He is 100% right.
I mean, you're already there, basically. Mm-hmm. The Power Five is playing under a completely different set of rules than everybody else.
They are. I mean, take, for example, the recruiting class that Texas A&M just signed. What was the dumb number that was thrown around about how much they paid for this class?
Oh, it's a lot.
Yeah, it was like $3.8 million or something like that. And then you've got the five-star quarterback that committed to Tennessee. Apparently, he's the one that the story came out just before he announced that he was going to commit to Tennessee, that there was an athlete, there was a college football player that had signed an $8 million deal, NIL deal. And then it came out that, well, it's this kid. It's Nico something. I can't remember his last name. But this Nico kid from California is going to go to Tennessee, and he's already got an $8 million promise through the school with their NIL deals. That's a major problem. Now, I always wanted the players to have freedom of movement and the ability to make money off of your name, image, and likeness and things like that, but this is the thing that Jeremy was trying to warn me about, was that this is what the schools are going to do. The schools are going to turn around and go, okay, now I have a blank check. Now I can give you whatever you want. And the NCAA and Mark Emmert and his feckless leadership have just taken hands off and gone, no, we can't regulate it. We can't regulate this anymore. Sports is big business. There's no doubt about that. And now that they've opened up the door, there's no going back. There's no putting the toothpaste back in the tube.
No.
And I'm not saying that Dabo's wrong in any of this, but he sees what's coming.
Not wrong.
Yeah, he sees what's coming.
But because nobody ever wanted to talk about the other side of this. This is, I mean, I really feel like it's sad that I have to explain this, but it's Civics 101. When money gets involved, the expectation rises because people that are paying you have a drastically different expectation than if they're not.
Mm-hmm.
And there's going to come a time. Florida State just had this. I mean, I can tell you, as a Florida State guy, proudly wearing my Florida State garb today, they just had a corner that walked because he couldn't get an NIL deal at Florida State.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where he ended up. I haven't heard the final destination. But basically it was he had negotiated an NIL deal. It fell through. He blamed the school. He left. And that's going to keep happening.
Of course it is.
And to me, there's always been a level of this that I think is still coming. There are too many smart guys in college football, college basketball. Tom Izzo. Why? Why would I continue to do this?
Mm-hmm.
Look at how much nonsense he's been through. Moni Bates. Moni Bates coming to Michigan State. Oh, yeah, this is the best recruit we've had. Where did he play last year? It's at Memphis.
Yeah.
He never stepped foot on Michigan's campus.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the why of that, I feel like you're going to know soon enough. So we'll just leave that out there as a, if you know, you know.
Yeah.
Memphis is currently facing a slew of NCAA accusations.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's true and what's not, but I'm just going to go out on a limb and say some of it is.
Which should definitely open the door for Penny Hardaway being the next head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. How about that?
Stop.
Dabo is not wrong. But if you refuse to play the game, I fail to see how you're going to stay competitive. It's going to be one of the greatest coaching jobs ever done if he can continue.
Well, as long as you recruit well, it doesn't matter.
But that's what I'm saying. When you go to recruits and say, "Oh, we want you to come to school, but there's not an $8 million deal waiting for you or anything." He said, everybody's
it's adorable that you
everybody's gonna
think just
play.
because he doesn't endorse them that they don't happen.
Oh, no. It's still going to happen. And he said that in the interview of everybody's going to have an NIL program. But how much would he be willing to say, how much say will he have in that? How much say will he have in how much is spent or how much it goes into this? I don't know. Again, to me, it's an old guy yelling at clouds of this is the world we live in now. You should probably play the game like everybody else or you're going to get left behind. Am I wrong in thinking that?
I think you're oversimplifying that.
Maybe
Clemson will always be fine.
Clemson they weren't before Dabo Swinney.
Yeah, that's because they had Tommy Bowden as their head coach, of which I have long said if his name had been Tommy Smith, he would have been an accountant somewhere.
Right.
He was not a good football coach.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's fine, but he's not to this level. And now you've built the program into a power. The ACC is down. There are not a slew of powers. I mean, basically, look at the ACC and be real honest with yourself. Miami, Florida State, and Virginia Tech they're in a little tier.
Mm-hmm.
North Carolina's in that tier. Is anybody on the par with Clemson? No. And until somebody is, none of it matters.
I mean, that's why they've made, before this year, they made 6 college football playoffs because they didn't have a whole lot of competition in the ACC.
And they will continue to. They will continue to do just fine.
Yeah, we shall see. Time to get just a bit outside.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
All right, there has been a letter sent from Congress. The U.S. House Oversight Committee sent a letter to the Federal Trade Commission today saying that they found evidence that the Washington Commanders engaged in unlawful financial conduct. This is going back to the testimony that was given that they were messing with the numbers on the ticket revenue that they're supposed to share with visiting teams and such. The committee said that emails, documents, and statements made by former employees indicate that team executives and owner Dan Snyder engaged in, quote, a troubling, long-running, and potentially unlawful pattern of financial conduct. That last part is the one that gets me. The unlawful conduct. What can they prove? What can Congress prove? What laws were broken, and will it be enough? Because I feel like Washington Commander fans have been longing for this day to come. For somebody to not only go, what Dan Snyder has been doing with this team is unethical, it's against the norms of the NFL. They wanted somebody to step up and say, this dude's been breaking the law. Let's see if we can send him to prison.
I don't think you're going to send him to prison, but the Jeff Bezos thing with the Commanders keeps getting louder and louder and louder.
And this is not going to help at all. Congress launched the investigation into the team's workplace misconduct after the league did not release a report detailing the findings of an independent probe into the matter. And this is where we find ourselves now, that apparently money has been moved around, money has been hidden from other teams, and the situation only gets worse for old Danny Snyder.
In a story that might be the least surprising thing I think I've ever said, Russell Westbrook did an exit interview with LA media.
Yes, he did.
And he said some dumb things. Let's dive in. I think it's unfortunate, to be honest, because I've never had any issue with any of my coaches before. I'm not sure what his issue was with me, and I'm not sure why, but I can't really give you an answer to why we never really connected. Oh, Russell, let me guess. Maybe because you're a guy that can only shoot within 3 feet of the basket and you shot 39%. Maybe because you shot 27% from three. Maybe because you barely played at times and you were still one of the players that led the league in turnovers. Oh, maybe because you have LeBron James on your team and you still couldn't figure out that you should not be the one with the ball in your hand. Oh, maybe because Frank Vogel told you that we want whoever rebounds the basketball to lead the break, and you went, oh no, I'm the card-carrying captain of #Team Gets Mine, and I will do whatever I want to do. There's 5 reasons off the top of my head, and I didn't even think about it before I said it.
Mm-hmm.
That's off one stat line, Russ. And literally, I don't think I even scratched the surface. I didn't talk about your personality. I didn't talk about your game, really, other than the gross deficiencies in it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there has ever been a less self-aware athlete in my lifetime.
I would agree with that.
I don't think there's ever been one. If there is, I don't know who it is. It is absolutely dumbfounding to me. And I'll be honest with you, for me, it's really funny because I've been saying this since back to the first year after Durant left and went to Golden State.
Mm-hmm.
If you recall, that was actually before we did this show, I came in saying this. That's the most overrated player in any sport in my lifetime. It's not really all that close.
Mm-hmm.
I would argue Cam Newton's the only one in the ballpark. He said something dumber than this yesterday, but we're not going to talk about that.
No.
Just suffice to say,
yeah.
Cam, somebody needs to be quiet, and it's you.
Keep the word woman out your mouth.
Oh, good gracious. Ugh.
Yeah.
I mean, it's dumbfounding to me.
Yeah.
How can you not look at this season and go, maybe it was partially on me? I mean, I know Anthony Davis is made of popsicle sticks and, LeBron plays when he wants to. But maybe I had a role in this.
No, I never got a real shot. I never got the chance.
Card-carried captain, original captain of Team Gets Mine.
Well, and you heard the story that he told about the day that he got to L.A., that he was out to dinner or something with and the coach was there. Remind me, what's his name?
Frank Vogel.
Yeah, thank you. Frank Vogel was there, and he sent over a bottle of champagne because it was Frank Vogel and his wife's anniversary. And he sends over the bottle of champagne, and he was trying to be all nice and everything. And then he said, I showed up the next day, and he didn't thank me for it. He didn't say anything to me. And it's like, so that's what caused this? Like, you sent him a bottle of champagne, he didn't acknowledge it, and then you got your feelings hurt, and so from that point on, you refused to do anything he told you to?
Well, I'm going to say the same thing about this that I said about Cam Newton all of a sudden being bad because of coronavirus. Well, then I guess you ordered that bottle for Frank Vogel in about 2017, because everything I saw from you this year is everything I have seen for several other years.
Right.
It was just you were on a team that nobody cared about. You were playing with the Thunder, who were the 6th seed in the West. Cool. You'll be kibble for the Lakers or whoever they got in the playoffs.
Russell's also blaming Vogel for all of the sourced stories that came out, saying, all these lies were told about me, and I got to fight against this one, and I got to fight against that one, and I got to fight against this one. And then they asked him to follow up and said, could you tell us what false stories were put out there?
I feel like if there doesn't have to be a sourced story. Russell Westbrook's attitude is a lot like my predilection to drinking alcohol. I don't have to tell you for you to know. You can kind of just listen to me talk for about 45 seconds and go, I bet that guy likes to eat about 17 beers on a Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
Russell Westbrook, I can listen to one of your press conferences and go, I bet that guy's a jerk.
Yeah.
And weird, every player that's ever played with him, he's a jerk.
Let's say, can you give us an example of some of these fake stories that have been put out about you? And he said, no, not off the top of my head. You know what they are.
Yeah, Google it. GTS, Google it.
God, totally overrated player and just an
See, this is where I've long had an idea with the NBA, and I don't know exactly how we would do it, but I feel like you could do it around the draft lottery.
Mm-hmm.
You bring in all 14 teams that missed the playoffs, and while you have their GMs or player, whatever, the representative of the team, you just name a player. If we would give him to you for nothing, would you be interested? And you just... And they would say Russell 5 or 6 times, and it would be like an auction for something no one wants. Can I have $5?
Right.
$5. One $5 bill will take it. Crickets.
And nobody would take it. Not even the lowest of the low.
No.
In the NBA.
Why? Why would I do this to myself? I've now watched him bounce around 4 teams in, 6 years?
Something like that.
It's been a disaster everywhere he's gone, and yet there are still people that, oh, you just don't understand. No, I think I do. I think I understand it pretty well. I think I understand that is the hardest person to fit into a culture in the history of sports.
Mm-hmm. And he's only happy if he's got the ball.
Even James Harden, who I put on in the same stratosphere, he's an exponentially better player.
Mm-hmm.
Even he can make it half a season and play the game. Russell comes in from day one, like, we're doing this my way.
Yeah.
Okay, go to Sacramento. Have you seen the story about Sacramento that's come out today?
No.
Basically, Rivak Ranadive has turned that into a disaster. It's unnamed sources. Well, it's unnamed sources that basically said the workplace is a disaster. Nobody wants to be here. Everybody would get out if they could. And now they're resigned to taking people that probably don't even belong in this league because nobody with options will commit to being in Sacramento.
Mm-hmm.
Just one time, can we contract 8 teams from every sport? Every sport could lose 8 teams, except the NFL. The NFL probably needs 8 more, for being really honest.
I don't think we could do with more teams in the NFL.
Oh, I do. That's the only sport that I have ever gone, man, I wish there was more of that. And the USFL's not doing it.
No. I did see the power ranking. Somebody put out a power ranking today for the USFL. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers or the Tampa Bay Bandits right there on top.
Somebody sent me the futures on winning the USFL championship. They sent it to me on Twitter. I responded with, you need a meeting in the basement of a church with stale cookies and bad coffee because you have a problem. There's just a handful of things that if I ever say, hey, I'm betting on that. The Bachelor. I've had people ask me, who's your favorite for The Bachelor? First of all, I don't even know what channel The Bachelor comes on, so I got nothing. If you're wagering on that, you have a bit of a problem. And that, coming from me, should tell you everything you need to know.
It makes it just like it makes it just like sports. I mean, if sports aren't your thing, then you got gambling odds on other things. Maybe The Bachelor is, I don't know. I've never watched The Bachelor, so I have no idea.
Lie. I'm straight up calling. I've met
Not
your wife.
one episode.
Never. Not one. You've never walked in the room. She's just watching The Bachelor.
She doesn't watch it.
That might be the most shocking thing you've ever said to me.
Mm-hmm. And I would have thanked my lucky stars every day.
I mean, I'll tell you something. My wife doesn't watch it either.
Oh, there you go.
My wife she likes sports and true crime dramas. Which is why it works.
Yeah, that show's biggest fan is apparently Mel Kiper. Makes you think.
Mel does like the.
He does. He
like
does his power rankings on the weekend show and all that kind of stuff, or at least he used to. I don't know if he still does it.
This year of the draft has made me understand Mel Kiper to a level that I never thought possible.
Because you've crammed your head with so much knowledge?
We started doing the A+ mock drafts. That's where I take over your franchise. This is how I would draft. And those will start debuting tonight on our YouTube channel at the Sportsocracy at 6 o'clock with the Jacksonville Jaguars. And it goes in the order of pick. So you go Jaguars, Lions, Texans, Jets, Giants, Panthers, yada, 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 yada.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I've ever spoken as fast as I did in the first set of recordings of these. And I didn't realize it until the end of the fourth one where I was like, I felt like Doc Rivers. Don't blame Blake. Not his fault.
It is a lot. Look forward to those videos coming out, as he said, on the YouTube channel, coming out over the over the next few days. As we'll get that one out of the way, and then we immediately start with the next mock draft.
Well, it's not immediate. You got to do the big board in between.
Right.
So all of the mocks will be out by Saturday or Sunday. Just depends on how long they take to load and the script and all of those beautiful things. Some of these are really good. If you're a Jets fan,
who's shocked that the Jets fan put his thumb on the scale?
I didn't put my thumb on anything. Because I'll be honest with you, probably my favorite mock in this one is New England again.
Right. Okay. Tune in. You'll see what I'm talking about.
There's two trades with the Jets. And, they do just fine.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
They do. I'm new to the golf game. And so when I saw this article earlier today, I was thinking, what is the deal? What is the deal with the Masters, and why are they not making more money that they apparently can be making? This article came from Forbes, where Justin Teitelbaum was writing about how the Masters is missing out on revenue opportunities that they should probably capitalize on. And he uses the example of, you look at the revenue that is brought in by the big tournaments, and the U.S. Open, which is run by the USGA, brings in about $160 million every year. Well, what's a bigger tournament? It's no doubt that it's the Masters, right? The Masters is that's the coup de grace. That's the big one. So it should be making more money. But, this year, estimates are that they brought in $142 million. So he goes on to say that they make $69 million on merchandising, $39 million on badges, $25 million on the international TV rights, another $8 million on concessions. But the one thing that they're not making money on is the TV rights. That they apparently make $0 off of the broadcasting rights to the Masters because they get to control the content.
Mm-hmm. And so they control everything.
Right. So they have a deal with CBS and ESPN that they can carry this for nothing. But Augusta.
Now, they still make money off the commercials.
Yes, they do. Yeah, but what I'm saying is the broadcast rights, that's a huge deal.
ESPN doesn't actually pay them to cover it.
Right. But you look at the U.S. Open, and the U.S. Open, that deal's like $93 million for the broadcast rights because the USGA is willing to sell it. Here, everything's controlled by Augusta National, and they don't do that. They get control over the broadcast, and ESPN and CBS, they get to put the product out there. Yes, they get to sell their own ads and everything, but there's an opportunity for them to make a whole lot more money. And the fact that they don't let in as many fans as they possibly can, that they could be making another $100 million if they would just let more fans in and up the prices on the tickets. Now, obviously, as fans, we don't like that. We don't like that idea. Especially, at least not the part where getting more tickets, sure. Allow people the opportunity to go to the Masters, absolutely. Charging more for the badges and such, probably not going to go over well. But I just thought it was interesting. And what is the deal?
This is a perfect, you just don't get it. Let's play a game.
Uh-huh.
You use the U.S. Open.
Yes.
How many viewers do you think, and the number, by the way, is out for the Masters? And I believe I might have been wrong by just a little bit.
Okay.
What was the average number of viewers for the 2022 Masters?
The 2022
How many people
Masters.
are watching it at any given time?
I don't know. 10.
10.17.
10 million, okay.
How many watched the U.S. Open?
8.5?
It's 3.
It's 3 million?
Yeah, little over 3.
Wow, that drastic.
And by the way, that's the highest rated U.S. Open since Tiger made the cut in 2013.
Wow. Okay.
That's really all you need to know. The Masters is just different. It's always going to be different. It's always going to be treated different.
Right.
It's just like the patrons, and it's like the concessions. You can still buy an eggs or a pimento cheese sandwich at the Masters for $2.
Mm-hmm.
Could they charge $8? Yeah. That's part of the pageantry of it all. It's why it's a tradition unlike any other.
It's just above that money-making business.
It's one of those
we make
things,
enough, honestly.
It's one of those things that I can only explain it with if you know, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And being in around golf and involved in this as long as I have, you told me this story, and the first question I asked you was, who wrote this?
Mm-hmm.
Because I guarantee it's not somebody from the Golf Network. It's not somebody from ESPN. It's not somebody that does what we do. And when you answered it, you said, "Oh, somebody that works for Forbes," and I went,
"Yep,
got it."
Because that's what
Tell
Forbes
me you
does.
don't know what you're talking about without telling me you don't know what you're talking about. Because you did. You just lobbed it out there like,
right.
I don't get this at all.
Well, I mean, that's what Forbes does. Forbes is all about money. It's a capitalistic magazine, and so that's what they're going to do. They're going to look at, well, you're not getting all you can out of this. I don't know that he was saying it's wrong. It's just stating a fact of the Masters could be making a whole lot more money. Now, I like the way that I like the Masters, and I like the event, and I like the way that it's laid out. When you start talking about, putting advertising on the course and things like that,
never,
it would ruin it.
Ever.
Right.
And I did, since you told me the story before the show, I reached out to the people at Augusta to see their response.
You did?
That they could be making more money on the TV rights, and I recorded it. Would you like to hear it?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah, I don't think anybody cares. We're good.
We're good. With
by
it
the way, I
it
have
is.
a slew of Chris Farley clips for our mock drafts. They are Chris Farley based. That is a tribute to Brian Haynes, who we're hoping will be back for the draft for us with us this year.
Yes,
even if I have to abduct him, which I will. I feel like I admitted crimes. Don't admit crimes.
You did. Don't admit
Don't
crimes on the radio. Don't do that. We got the picks of the night coming up next. We got the NBA play-in games, or at least two of them coming up tonight. Jeremy will give you the best bets right up next, right here on ESPN Asheville in Greene on Greene.
Real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
Hey guys, I'm Ziggy, your local Philly girl, owner of Ziggy's Bakery and Deli. I've created a traditional northern deli with only the most authentic cheesesteaks outside of Philadelphia, served with provolone, white American, or Cheese Whiz. Our other classic deli sandwiches are made with the best quality meats and cheeses, available sliced by the pound. Join us for breakfast for house-made bagels with our custom cream cheeses. Or for something heartier, try a pork roll, egg and cheese, or house-cured lox. Ziggy's Bakery and Deli, in the corner of Asheville Commons, 1550 Hendersonville Road, open 8 to 3, Tuesday through Saturday.
Crooked teeth may embarrass kids whose families can't afford braces, and trying to fix their teeth themselves can make things worse. Luckily, there's Donated Orthodontic Services, a program from the American Association of Orthodontists. For children and teens who qualify and are matched with a volunteer orthodontist, treatment can be life-changing and help them smile with confidence. Learn more at aaoinfo.org.
This April, Dirt Racing's toughest gladiators come together in the last great Coliseum for a battle unlike any other. The World of Outlaws Bristol Bash.
3 cars racing for the win on the final lap.
See World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink, Sprint Cars, and World of Outlaws K-Slate models collide for one massive weekend. April 28th to the 30th at Bristol Motor Speedway. Do not miss this chance to be part of history. The World of Outlaws Bristol Bash, April 28th to the 30th. Be there.
If you've been losing the battle with your weight for a long time, like I have, I mean, it's been practically since birth. The folks at PhD Weight Loss, they can help you win that battle. I have been doing the PhD weight loss program now for just over 4 months, and I've lost 53 pounds. My pants don't fit. My belt don't fit. I got 2 shirts that fit just about. I got to go buy some new clothes, man.
I was about to say, are you going to borrow shirts from somebody, or do you just reserve that to pants? I am personally wearing new pants, not someone else's, because like Tank, I am losing a tremendous amount of weight. I have always had sleep issues, and I got in this shape because of convenience. Well, the great thing about this plan, it knocks them both out. The food is convenient, I'm sleeping better, and my new pants that don't belong to someone else are fitting much more nicely.
If you want to have that problem, all you got to do is go to myphdweightloss.com. That's myphdweightloss.com.
Easter, the season for pink grass and chocolate bunnies. But Walgreens knows it's also the jelly beans taste like what season, or how many baskets is too many season. Let Walgreens fill your baskets fast with pickup in as little as 30 minutes and delivery in as little as 1 hour. Because if it's who hides an egg there season, it's Walgreens season.
This week, select varieties of Easter jelly bean candy bags are 2 for $6. Offer valid through April 17th with My Walgreens. Restrictions apply on offer and pickup and delivery. See Walgreens.com for details.
There are so many words to describe Panera's new Chef's Chicken sandwiches. The chicken, juicy, succulent, seared. The brioche roll, buttery and toasty. The Parmesan crisps, crunchy, tangy. The secret aioli, creamy and rich. All those words. But when you have a bite, you might just be left speechless. Panera's new Chef's Chicken sandwiches. Enjoy $1 delivery fee when you order on our app. Restrictions apply. For details, visit panerabread.com/delivery info.
Coffee store closes on.
Get them the money. Then when you get the money, you get the power.
That watch costs more than your car.
Then when you get the power, then you get the woman.
I feel like Vegas listens to this show, and they're really trying to get me on the right side of the ledger because both of these lines are absolutely insane. 2 games for you in the NBA, 4 total picks. First one, the Los Angeles Clippers are a 3-point dog tonight at the Timberwolves. Over-under is 230.5. This is going to be, both of these games will be the first showing of what we say every year in the playoffs. When you get to the playoffs, it gets harder to score, the officiating gets tighter, and defense starts to matter. To me, the under is clearly the obvious choice here. These 2 teams have played 3 times this year. They have not gone over 230.5 yet. That part's easy. Bigger question, who wins? I feel like Vegas is not taking into account the fact that the Clippers have 2 former all-defensive team players that can slow down Anthony Edwards. I do think Paul George is going to play. Him and Robert Covington can slow down Anthony Edwards. Give me the Clippers plus the 3 under the 230.5. Finally, the Brooklyn Nets are a 9.5-point favorite tonight against the Cavaliers, and that's not enough. Without Jared Allen, the Cavaliers are brutally bad. Over-under is 229.5. I just don't see how Cleveland's going to score. They can't stop anybody, but I can see Brooklyn pulling the starters. Give me the Nets minus the 9.5. Over 229.5.
Go and do likewise, gents. The money's out there. You pick it up, it's yours. You don't, I got no sympathy for you.
And take those wagers, as always, over to betus.com, betus.com, promo code Sportsocracy, and get a 125% deposit bonus on whatever you put in, up to $2,500. We have a super chat in the YouTube stream. It is from our good friend Armchair Commentary. He says, if you watch Stephen A. or Skip talking about off-court, off-field drama and you think that you wouldn't enjoy The Bachelor, I got a bridge to sell you.
I can't. I can't do The Bachelor. I've heard it. I've seen it. I'm good.
I hate dating games. All of that.
Oh no, I can do the dating games. I need them to have a shtick.
I don't like any. We're gonna throw 30 randy, 20-somethings into a room and see which ones hook up with who. I'm out.
The fact that you said Randy, you are 800 years old.
And here's the thing. I don't like watching Stephen A. Smith or Skip talking about off-the-court things. This is actually the worst part of any of their shows. You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN. Asheville Sports Center is next.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Still a chance for a couple of showers here as we head through this evening. Otherwise, look for partly to mostly cloudy skies here tonight. Temperatures drop down into the upper part of the 50s. We'll be in and out of the clouds on Wednesday. It'll be breezy and unseasonably mild. South winds gusting to 10 to 20 miles per hour at times. Tomorrow, highs mid-70s. Chance of showers again Wednesday night into Thursday. Even a few rumbles of thunder. Highs Thursday mid-60s. I'm meteorologist Ken Boone at the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by InvisibleFence.com. Whether you want your pet to have the independence to run and play outside, or you need to correct some mischievous behaviors like digging in the trash, the hands-on trainers from Invisible Fence brand train your pets for you. Visit InvisibleFence.com to learn more. Invisible Fence brand. Surround your pets with care.
It's prom season, and this week the free iHeartRadio app is getting you set for an epic night with our iHeartRadio prom playlist. Whether you're getting ready for your prom or looking to relive an unforgettable night from years ago, we've got the playlist to get you dancing and maybe even look up your crush on socials.
Ew, he's married to who?
Want to create your own? Create a playlist filled with the prom songs you want. Name it, save it, even share it with friends, all for free. Get started when you download the free iHeartRadio app. Discover music, radio, and podcasts you'll love.
Professional women's tennis is coming back to Harrah's Cherokee Center, Asheville, April 15th and 16th. Tickets are on sale now at USTA.com/BJKC. Get your tickets and see Team USA women's tennis in this exciting match, April 15th and 16th.
I found hope in the midst of an overwhelming situation.
Alcoholism can affect any family. Are you in an overwhelming situation because of someone else's drinking? Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 866-200-0033 or visit alanon.org/hope.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. At least 10 people were shot by a gunman on a Brooklyn subway today, about 2 miles from where the Nets will host the Cavaliers in an NBA play-in game tonight. The gunman is still at large. Brooklyn is a double-digit favorite tonight, and it's got the difference maker in the matchup with Cleveland, believes ESPN's Zach Lowe.
As a general rule, if Kevin Durant is playing in a basketball game, he's the most important player in the basketball game. We can overthink all these things. This guy's an X factor. What if Karis LeVert has 30 and Evan Mobley's doing this and that? It's Kevin Durant. The guy can win the game by himself. He's maybe the best player in the league, in the world.
Tonight's other play-in game, the Timberwolves host the Clippers. Suns coach Monty Williams voted National Basketball Coaches Association Coach of the Year for a second straight year, according to ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. The U.S. House Oversight Committee sent a letter to the Federal Trade Commission, said it found evidence the Washington Commanders engaged in unlawful financial conduct by withholding ticket revenue from visiting teams, as well as refunding ticket deposits from season ticket holders.
When you're trying to hire and fill open jobs, the searching, screening, and interviewing can become its own job. You need Indeed. Their powerful hiring platform makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy, presented by Ingles Supermarkets.
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy here in the Ingles Studio. We're always brought to you by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings. Ingles, huge sponsor of the Billie Jean King Cup, the qualifier that's being played between the U.S. and the Ukraine, coming up at the Harrah's Cherokee Center, Asheville, Friday and Saturday. Get your tickets today at USTA.com/BJKC. USTA.com/BJKC. Now, Jeremy, you've got some pointed things to say about Jordan Love. This was a weird, when I said, hey, what do you want to talk about today? And he said, I want to talk about Jordan Love. Well, what about Jordan Love? He's doing nothing in Green Bay.
And that's kind of the point. Packers CEO Mark Murphy was talking to PackCast and said, we think he can be a good player, but we haven't really seen enough, so I think the preseason will be good for him. That's code for all you have to do is bring even a halfway decent offer and we'll give him to you.
Mm-hmm.
There have been a lot of feelers put out. Basically, Green Bay's let it be known, if you were willing to give us a second-round pick, we would give you Jordan Love. And it does not have to be a second-round pick this year.
Right.
And basically everybody in the league is going, nope, we're good. And for me, that blossomed into something slightly bigger of This is a cautionary tale. We're 16 days away from the NFL draft.
Mm-hmm.
There are 5 quarterbacks that are at least intriguing to the masses. And I'm going to be honest with you. Outside of Sam Howell, I would avoid all of them like they were on fire. I know there's been a lot of talk about Pittsburgh with Malik Willis.
Mm-hmm.
No way.
Why?
Because there are so few ways that this can turn out right. And Jordan Love is that cautionary tale. If you remember, that was the first draft you and I did together.
Mm-hmm.
And I told you, when Green Bay picked, first of all, trading up for him, I laughed at that aggressively. But when they actually said who they were picking, I almost fell out of my chair. There's no good way out. If your starter is good, in the Pittsburgh case, I'm talking about Mitch Trubisky.
Mm-hmm.
If he's good, then you basically have an asset sitting in mothballs on the sideline. Do we know what Jordan Love is?
No, I mean, I feel like he's a bad quarterback.
I feel like I know what he is, but
okay.
In terms of, there's been a lot of talk about when Aaron Rodgers showed up off the holdout last year, that Jordan Love's confidence was just shot in the tank.
Mm-hmm.
He had been commanding the offense, and there were good things being reported out of Green Bay about Jordan Love. Then Aaron shows up, and it all gets shot, and it's DOA.
Well, because you were building up the guy that was going to have to take over.
Well, nobody with an IQ above salad dressing really thought Aaron Rodgers wasn't going to be the quarterback of the Green Bay Packers when draft day came and went. He was still there. So I refuse to believe if your ego is that fragile, you're not an NFL quarterback anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just looking at it going, I don't see a soft landing spot for any of these quarterbacks. And the cautionary, a second side of this cautionary tale, I actually don't believe the Carolina Panthers are going to take a quarterback.
Really?
I don't. And I'll tell you where this came from. It started with Tony Pauline, who's an NFL writer, very, very smart guy, put out about a week ago that Carolina was down to Charles Cross, Ike Ekwonu.
Mm-hmm.
And it got absolutely no traction. Did with me because I went, okay, let's start making some phone calls and seeing if that's accurate.
Right.
I'm starting to wonder if the Kenny Pickett thing is a complete smokescreen. I don't know what it would be for because I don't know what you really think you're going to drum up. I said when we talked about Kenny Pickett in one of our mock drafts that went out on the YouTube channel, if he doesn't go at 6, I could see him not going in the first round. That's not a smokescreen.
Mm-hmm.
That's just you saying something and hoping somebody's stupid enough to buy it. And there's a double-edged sword to that. Because now that you've gone down this rabbit hole, I'm looking at it going, okay, now I'm going to hammer you even worse if you do actually take Kenny Pickett at 6. I would avoid them all. I would avoid every last one of them.
Not a single one by any team.
Sam Howell, and I would like to see it be the Detroit Lions. Because Sam Howell's the only one that I think has a path to playing this year and it being a good thing.
Okay.
Malik Willis is 2 years away, I think, minimum. Desmond Ridder is probably 2 lifetimes away, in my humble opinion.
And Kenny Pickett, while he may be ready, he's not good.
He's almost as old as Sam Darnold. What is the point in that? And so as I've gone down the rabbit hole, I'm sitting here looking at it going, all right, Green Bay's letting it be known that you could have Jordan Love for a second-round pick, which means they would probably take a 3 if we're being really honest, just to get rid of the headache. Would I rather spend a third-round pick on Jordan Love 2 years into a rookie deal or take one of the quarterbacks in this draft class where I'm going to have to take them?
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it's Jordan Love, and it's not even close.
Really?
If Jordan Love was in this draft, I would probably have him – I would have him ahead of Kenny Pickett. I would have him behind Sam Howell. I would have him ahead of Ridder, and him and Malik Willis would be just absolutely deadlocked with one another.
Mm-hmm.
The arm is there. It's just he's in a horrible situation.
Which his team put him in. Like, I keep going back to that of you did this to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you didn't – I know at the time you thought, well, we don't know how much longer this Aaron Rodgers thing is going to last. Well, he's going to be around as long as you want him to be in the building. as long as you show him that you want him to be in the building. And then, oh, guess what? He wins an MVP, and you're like, oh, we got to have him back. And then he wins another MVP, and you're like, oh, we have to give him $200 million with this extension.
And my argument would be, if they thought they had anything in Jordan Love, you wouldn't have done it. You wouldn't have done it. If you had what you wanted in Jordan Love, you would have ceded to him. It's much cheaper.
But in this draft, I don't know that I look at this and go, yeah, I'll be glad to, if I'm the Atlanta Falcons, to hang on to Marcus Mariota rather than giving Malik Willis
that's another
the
part
opportunity.
Of this. Somehow quarterbacks are just getting handed money because nobody's seen them. Mitch Trubisky basically hid in the attic in mothballs for a year, and the Pittsburgh Steelers went, all the money! Here, come start for us right now! In spite of the fact we've seen you be absolutely terrible in Chicago. Marcus Mariota, what did he take last year? 14 snaps for the Raiders? Atlanta, starter! Really? And I'm looking at Jordan Love going, you do realize that every time you put him on the field, he has literally, in 2 years, every time I've seen Jordan Love on the field, he's gotten worse. And his stock, to me, has gotten worse. And where I'm headed with this is, if I'm Green Bay, I'm off of it. I don't care. I don't care what I get for him. Cut bait with the mistake. Aaron's going to play for 2 more years. Fact or fiction?
Fact.
Then there's no shot you kick in his 5th-year option. None. So you're going to lose him for nothing. All right, let's say you give him up for a 6th-round pick. Who cares? You're going to lose him for nothing anyway. But what if Aaron gets hurt? If Aaron gets hurt, you're doomed anyway.
Right. Jordan Love's not coming in to save this thing.
The Green Bay Packers with Jordan Love are how many games worse than Minnesota, and why is it 5 at minimum?
Okay. I'm down. Yeah.
Just to me, there's no point. Well, nobody will give us better than a 5. Take the 5. Take the 5 and be done with it. And every team in the NFL should be watching this going, this is why you don't do this way.
Right. You don't draft a quarterback. You don't use high draft capital on a quarterback when you already have one. But that's where I think the teams in this draft are different. They don't have a quarterback. Sam Howell is the long-term future of the Carolina Panthers, true or false?
Okay, say that again.
Sam Darnold is the future of the Carolina Panthers, true or false?
TBD.
Okay. It's going to be a no from me, dog. It's going to be a no from
then answer me
pretty
this.
much everybody.
What quarterback in this draft class would you take ahead of Sam Darnold? I've caught a ton of flack for this, by the way. And that's fine.
Oh, it'd be Howell.
You're out of your mind.
I would rather have Howell than Darnold.
Darnold's 3 inches taller and has a better arm. They're equally mobile. And I love Howell. That's not a shot at Sam Howell. I'm telling you right now, if there was no NFL tape on Sam Darnold and he was in this draft, he'd be the number 1 pick in the draft, and somebody would have hemorrhaged their future to go get him.
I think I'd rather have Malik Willis.
I'm going to act like you didn't say that because everything I want to say is going to be just really mean.
Look, I know he's your boyfriend, but he's the worst quarterback in the league.
The next time I see Malik Willis get to a second read will be the first time I've ever seen it. Do you know how many quarterbacks I've evaluated said that and they never learned how to do it? Because it's a ton of them. There's a lot of risk with Malik Willis.
I'm sure there is.
And what I'm hoping is that Carolina figured that out. They looked at this and went, the high side on Kenny Pickett is non-existent. It's just not. I've done this too many times. This is Christian Ponder all over again. Can he start in this league? Yeah. Will he be any good at it? Nope. I mean, you can shoot draft capital all you want to, but you don't have much of it. And then you get into the Matt Rule and all of the reasons that you should not do this. And as I've done the digging, it does appear that this Kenny Pickett thing may be a smokescreen of they're going to take Charles Cross at 6, as I've had them doing for ever. -1 mock draft. Right? It's Mac Jones all over again.
Right.
Only this time I didn't get duped all the way.
I find it funny that after all these years, I mean, after 4 years in the league, you still believe that there's more in Sam Darnold that can be unlocked.
Give me a 3-game stretch any quarterback in Carolina Panthers history has ever had that was as good as the 3-game stretch he had last year.
Oh, we know there's not one.
There you go. That would be the best 3-game stretch of Kenny Pickett's career, I promise you. And now there's a legitimate offensive line, especially if you add Cross at 6, who is, by the way, skyrocketing up boards. I also find it funny that whoever is putting this out said, well, unless Ike Ekwuanu's there. If Ike Ekwonu is there, the first 5 teams in this league are just hammered. Like, somebody needs to go to a meeting.
I don't think there's much of a chance of that happening.
There's zero shot of that.
Right.
Literally zero. He will never get past the New York Giants.
Right. I don't know that there's a Jordan Love situation to look at in this draft.
Rob Johnson said, I might love Sam Darnold more than Colin Cowherd. It's not that I love him so much. It's that I don't have another word to say here. I'm very sensitive to what we put him in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the best offensive lineman he ever played behind was probably 60th at his position in the league. Then he went to Carolina, and I could argue that line was worse. So, yeah, I mean, if I'm an NFL team, I would rather go – I would rather be the Darnold path. But could I be convinced to do something with Jordan Love in a year this quarterback class is bad. I have 2 in the top 75.
Mm-hmm.
My big board that will be coming out between now and the draft. I got Sam Howell at 25,
I think.
It's somewhere in
26.
there. Malik Willis is in the low 40s.
Mm-hmm.
Desmond Ridder, he's at his number starts with a 1, and there's 2 more numbers beyond it.
Right. And I think you have Matt Corral ahead of Ridder, right?
Oh, yeah. He's in the 70s, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of those. I put the board together and I went, I did not know that about myself, that I had Matt Corral that much higher than Desmond Ridder.
Right. But for some reason, he's getting way more pub right now.
Ridder?
Yeah.
It's because this is an imitation league. It's because I shouldn't even say half. It's because the vast majority of the league was made to look stupid by Lamar Jackson because they thought, his arm's not great, and his arm's still not great. But he's so dynamic that it hides a lot of the ills. And now you've seen Jalen Hurts lead a team to the playoffs in spite of the fact he couldn't play dead in the Western as a sheer quarterback. And so teams are going, well, I love these teams that say, he's our number 1 quarterback. Well, that's dumb. And you should fire every scout you have in that building because they are crazy people.
Right. The Detroit Lions have been tied to quarterbacks in this draft, and I feel like at least Howell and Willis and maybe Corral, I feel like all of those guys better than Jared Goff, or at least would be in the long term.
I couldn't disagree with you more vehemently.
Really?
I want nothing to do with Kenny Pickett.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. Small hands. He's too old. He was a 4th-round prospect before 1 year where he's 3 years older than the guys that he's playing with.
Right.
I'm good. I've read this book before. This has Brandon Whedon written all over it. Oh, but look how good Brandon Whedon was. Yeah, because he was 30. Chris Weinke, he was also 30.
I just feel like all these teams, they have stopgap measures for a reason. They've set this up for this reason of we're going to go get a quarterback in this draft. The Pittsburgh Steelers will get a quarterback in this draft. Now, I'm not saying they should use their first-round picks on them.
And see, that's the thing, is that somebody's going to jump.
Oh, of course they will.
And that's what's getting so hard. This is the hardest year to forecast quarterbacks that I remember. In our YouTube comments, Rob Johnson asked, is this the worst quarterback class since 2011? I mean, there's still a Geno Smith, E.J. Manuel year in there that, I don't think it's that bad because I do still like Sam Howell. But it's bad. It's bad, and it's getting harder for me to figure out where these guys go.
Right.
And we all talked about Malik Willis in Atlanta. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. And then the Malik Willis thing with Pittsburgh, that's been what he said there has been, I don't know, it's sitting weird with me. I've just never heard somebody say that.
What did he say?
Well, he was asked, he had an extensive meeting with Pittsburgh, and a reporter asked him how he would fit there, and he went, I don't know.
Okay.
Okay. That is not the answer I thought you were going to give.
Right.
This is why we ask questions, because every once in a while somebody will say something like that turns you into a dog looking at the answering machine.
Right. I still look at Seattle and go, that's the one. That's the one that I think should jump
And here would be my question. If you're Seattle, you've got DK, who you've made it pretty clear that unless a really aggressive offer comes, you're not coming off of.
Mm-hmm.
Lockett, the defense has improved. The offensive line is better. You can still run the ball. And the NFC is bad.
Right.
Would you not be better off with Jordan Love? Honestly? Would you not be better off giving up a 4th or 5th round, even if it's a 3,
right,
for Jordan Love, as opposed to, hey, we can trot out Kenny Pickett, little hands guy in a place where it rains all the time. That'll go beautifully.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think Jordan Love
I vehemently disagree with
Jordan Love is just on the he right now he's just on the scrap heap of history. Of course, I think the same thing about Baker Mayfield. I think the same thing about.
But see, this is where people go so far overboard that I'm going to start calling this the Sam Darnold rule.
Mm-hmm.
You go so far overboard. I am the biggest Baker Mayfield detractor on the planet Earth.
Mm-hmm.
There is nobody that likes him less than I do. And even I'm sitting here going, is he this bad? Is he like we would rather have Drew Lock than Baker Mayfield?
For the price tag, yeah.
The price tag is half of his salary. I would rather have Baker Mayfield for $10 million than Drew Lock for $10. Drew Lock had one of the best accumulations of young talent in the arsenal in the league and couldn't break 60% completion percentage.
Yeah.
Y'all pass on that.
I agree with you.
And that's just what people do. They go so far off the beaten path. It's just like Sam Darnold. If you could all right, let me ask you a question. And maybe this will make this a little clearer.
Okay.
One game to save your life right now. You starting Sam Darnold or Kenny Pickett?
Oh, it's Darnold.
There you go.
Easy.
That's really kind of my point.
Yeah.
So you're telling me this guy is clearly better right now. You didn't even really think about that. You thought about it longer than I wanted you to, and yet you're telling me you would take Kenny Pickett at 6?
No, I would not.
Well, I mean, you're not going to get another shot at him.
Oh, I agree.
Tap.
Yeah,
that means Darnold is the solution because there are no other solutions.
Mm-hmm.
You and Baker have already said we're good.
Yeah, but is he better? Is the question.
In the long term?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I would say absolutely.
Sam Darnold in the long term is better than Kenny Pickett.
Absolutely.
No doubt. Okay.
And I don't think it's even all that close.
Okay. That's all I wanted to hear. I wanted to hear your definite answer because I get why David Tepper wants to do this. Because that's where it's coming from.
You know what? We got to take a commercial break. Yeah. There is a part of what you just said that makes absolutely no sense to me, and I'm going to see if you can explain it to me.
All right, we'll do that up next right here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Still a chance for a couple of showers here as we head through this evening. Otherwise, look for partly to mostly cloudy skies here tonight. Temperatures drop down into the upper part of the 50s. We'll be in and out of the clouds on Wednesday. It'll be breezy and unseasonably mild. South winds gusting to 10 to 20 miles per hour at times. Tomorrow, highs mid-70s. Chance of showers again Wednesday night into Thursday. Even a few rumbles of thunder. Highs Thursday mid-60s. I'm meteorologist Ken Boone at the Weather Channel.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is slow 26 westbound between Fanning Bridge Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. Light delays 26 eastbound between the French Broad River and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 40 westbound stop and go between Fines Creek Road and Harmon Den Road. Sweden Creek Road northbound stop and go between Royal Pines and Mills Gap Road. An accident in the stretch. Hendersonville Road moving incident-free. On the Smoky Park Highway, no problems. Patton Avenue, incident-free. New Leicester Highway, no delays. I'm Lyndon Phil with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Are you a safe driver? Are you looking to save money? With DriveWise from Allstate, the safer you drive, the more you can save. At Allstate, better protection costs a whole lot less. Visit allstate.com or call an agent for a quote today.
There are so many words to describe Panera's new Chef's Chicken sandwiches. The chicken, juicy, succulent, seared. The brioche roll, buttery and toasty. The Parmesan crisps, crunchy, tangy. The secret aioli, creamy and rich. All those words, but when you have a bite, you might just be left speechless. Panera's new Chef's Chicken Sandwiches. Enjoy $1 delivery fee when you order on our app. Restrictions apply. For details, visit panerabread.com/delivery info.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage? Keep your engine at its best with clean oil from Pennzoil Platinum Full Synthetic. Got an older vehicle? Use Pennzoil Platinum Full Synthetic High Mileage. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP Extended Life oil filter for only $35.99. Get what you need for better fuel efficiency at any of our 6,000 stores or on AutoZone.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
The world champs are back. The Braves are out to defend their world championship. And behind Matt Olson, Ronald Acuna, Dansby Swanson, Max Fried, and this loaded 2022 roster, a repeat is within reach.
There goes Ozzie. 2-2 on the way. Hit well. Deep center field. Might have ourselves a tie ball game. You betcha.
And we'll bring you every huge moment of the Braves 2022 season right here.
Your home for the Braves is ESPN Asheville.
Did you know select Ingles Markets now offer curbside service? Shopping has never been easier with all the quality and service you expect from Ingles. Visit ingles-markets.com to find a store near you and start shopping.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I am Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
Oh, it's got that great 80s feel, that nice New Jersey boardwalk feel to it. Yeah, Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band going up against the Rolling Stones in today's semifinal matchup of the most overrated bands bracket.
I don't even know that song, but let me guess. The next words were
Yep, that's Bruce Springsteen.
Ugh. God, that is just horrible.
You can cast your vote now in the YouTube stream. Just go to the Sportsocracy.com, click on that live video link, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. That'll get you into the chat so you can vote in the poll. More overrated, is it Bruce Springsteen or is it the Rolling Stones? Right now, it is 68% in favor of Bruce Springsteen to advance to the finals coming up on Thursday. Because programming note, we will not have a show here tomorrow afternoon because of daytime Braves baseball.
But there will be a slew of mock drafts.
Yes,
if you miss us, just go to YouTube, the Sportsocracy, click the little beer. You'll see our faces when we were much fatter. And just follow it. Just go that way. We probably should take new pictures for that.
We absolutely should.
Anthony Hurt came in earlier and said, "How much weight has Tank lost?" It's a lot.
It is quite a bit.
I've lost quite a bit myself. You just can't see it because I have this cowardly lion costume that I wear every day.
Right. The reason I look so different right now is because of PhD weight loss.
Segue.
That is the segue, and that is a brilliant job by you. But yeah, I've lost so much weight with PhD weight loss that it is just amazes me every day I wake up and my scale gets lower and lower. I am now comfortably in the 230-pound range, and it's all because PhD has taught me a better way of life. They have taught me to, only put good things into my body. I'm following their meal plan. They give me 80% of the food that I need to have success on the program. All I got to do is throw in a couple of salads, and I have lost in 4.5 months, officially 54 pounds, just over 54 pounds.
I have always had a problem sleeping. It's been a lifelong, seemingly never-ending problem, and it was largely because of my weight. I have sleep apnea, and now that I have shed the weight, I'm back down to my high school weight. I'm sleeping better. I feel better, and it's all thanks to the healthy, nutritious food and plan from PhD Weight Loss.
I got to shell out money for some new clothes because none of my clothes fit
Yeah,
anymore.
stop wearing other people's pants. It's weird.
Yeah. Well, I gotta either buy more shorts or borrow some from somebody because none of my shorts fit. Now I have one pair of shorts now that the warm weather is around. But it's a great problem to have, and you want to have that same kind of problem. You need to turn your life around. Go to myphdweightloss.com. That's myphdweightloss.com.
I will say I've seen those shorts, and with the burlap waistband, they do look like they're being tortured or interrogated or have been kidnapped and are being led to their own slaughter.
I'm on the last hole of this belt too, and it's just gonna have to come.
I'm waiting for you to just show up and look like a sack of potatoes. I got a big drawstring wrapped around it.
I could. You never know. Losing 3 pounds a week, it definitely puts things into perspective. All right, let's get weird, Jeremy.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
I know everybody's planning their vacation. Spring break is this week, so you got a lot of people on your Facebook feed or your social media feed posting pictures from the beach. Are you a big fan of the North Carolina coast?
Yeah.
You are?
Oak Island. I've vacationed there many times.
Okay, I have only vacationed to the east coast of North Carolina one time in my life. When it comes time to go to the beach, we all just pick up and go down to South Carolina. Charleston, usually the destination. But off of the coast of North Carolina, Canadian researchers of OSearch say that they have gotten some interesting information back from their geotagging of sharks. Great white sharks. Yeah, those the really big, scary ones. And just last week, they got a hit just off the coast of North Carolina, and from the picture that they have posted on their Twitter feed here, it doesn't look like he's too far away from the shore. So I just want to throw this out. If you're thinking about going to the east coast of North Carolina for a vacation, just know that this time of year is when the great white sharks like to swarm around the waters there.
Just don't swim around the pier. As somebody that spent enough time at the beach and is married to a woman that was born at the beach, don't swim next to the pier. They throw food to the eaty things down there.
They have named this shark Mahoney, and he came to the surface. And see, this is how this works, is they got to come up to the surface, and then the satellites can pick up their signal. This 13-foot, 7-inch, 1,701-pound great white shark pinged just off the coast of North Carolina this past weekend. And he ain't the only one that's out there. Apparently, there's a 12-foot, 990-pound shark named Ulysses that's also pinged off the North Carolina coast in the last few days, and a 10-foot, 715-pound shark named Tancook, who's also roaming around the North Carolina waters. So just beware. Just beware.
I have two weird stories, and with both of them, I want to play a fun game called Where Did This Happen?
Okay, don't tell us this
I was
time.
about to say, and unlike last time, I won't tell you. A traffic stop was caught on camera. This was 2 days ago. Police department officials, didn't say the city there, stopped a vehicle in a blank district when they observed it driving after dark without its headlights activated. The car stops, the cop goes to the driver's side window, the window rolls down, and there's no one driving the car. This is one of those cruise taxi cabs. It's an unmanned car. Basically, it's just a car that shows up and will drive you around.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the headlights burned out. They didn't. Somehow, all of the diagnostics on this car didn't say, hey, I don't have any headlights. Apparently, that's a thing. Cops didn't really know what to do, so they just deactivated the car. Apparently, there's a switch where you can turn the car off.
Okay.
They did that, and a team responded to deal with the headlights. Where did that happen?
Washington.
San Francisco. Just a car driving around with nobody in it. Now,
I should have known when you said district.
Yes.
There's lots of districts there.
Now, this one is much more nefarious. This has to do with a man named Michael Marola. He was also pulled over. A lot of crimes happening in my weird stories today. He was driving around, and he was stopped by police driving a GMC Sierra. No, it doesn't say why he was stopped, but when you find out what he had in his car, I would say it looked odd.
Right.
He was stopped, and cops very quickly realized he had things in his car that he shouldn't have. First of all, he had loaded syringes in his pocket full of crimes. Don't do crimes. He also had 2 firearms in the seat next to him that were unregistered, had the serial number sawed off. That's also crimes.
Yeah.
And in the back of the GMC Sierra, they found a bin that had a baby alligator in it. Apparently, it is a crime to trap an alligator without an alligator trapper's license.
Okay.
I don't know where you get that. I don't. That was my first question. My second question was, what order did this happen? Did you pick up the sawed-off number guns, maybe some drugs, then illegally trap the alligator, or did you do that and then the order is very important to me. Where did that happen?
Florida.
Of course it did.
Of course it did. Nobody.
Of course it did.
Yeah. Your options were very limited on where that could have been.
Oh, that could have been plenty.
One.
Trust me, as somebody that's been around this country, I can give you 4 places on the top of my brain that could have happened.
Okay, go.
Louisiana.
Yeah.
Mississippi.
Yeah.
Alabama would be close. And Florida.
Yeah,
no.
right.
Like,
your
it all
options
comes
are
back
limited.
to Florida.
Right. Your
I
options
should have
are limited.
asked what city in Florida that happened.
Ooh, Homosassa Springs.
Nope.
I just wanted to say that on the radio.
No, that's not the one. This happened
Sarasota?
In Collier County.
Collier County.
I don't know where that is.
I don't know where that is either.
I bet I can find out. The Google box will tell me.
I feel like I have driven through it. Is Collier County anywhere near Polk County?
Collier's, that's where Naples is. That's Naples and, oh, yeah. That's right around Big Cypress. That doesn't even kind of surprise me now that I know that.
All right. Good
Just
deal.
don't drive around with weird wildlife in your car.
All right, so I had said that I understand why David Tepper wants to take a quarterback at 6. And you don't get that, Jeremy?
No.
You don't understand why David Tepper wants a new face of the franchise?
I didn't say that. I said I don't understand why you would take a quarterback in this draft.
Well, it's because we have the 6th pick, and that's what you do,
All
right? Because I know David Tepper's been around the NFL a long time. I mean, remember, he was a minority owner with the Pittsburgh Steelers forever. But I feel like this is a predictable thing for a newish owner to do, to just be, taken over by, I got the 6th pick, I have to take a quarterback because we need a quarterback.
In a draft where there is no one threatening you on any of these quarterbacks. All right, so walk me through this.
Mm-hmm.
David Tepper's a pretty smart guy. What is the path that this works? Because Kenny Pickett's the only one they've really been closely attributed to.
Mm-hmm.
Malik Willett, stop. Just stop that. It's comically, ridiculously stupid.
The path that this works, we take Kenny Pickett at 6, and he comes in and he competes with Sam Darnold, and that'll do one of two things. Either he will beat him out for the starting job, or...
But that's where you lost me.
Mm-hmm.
If you're taking a quarterback at 6, there is no, he competes for the job. If he's competing for the job, you did it wrong.
I would agree with that to a certain extent, but again, you have a quarterback that you're already paying $18 million to, but it's only for a year. And how many of these quarterbacks have we said need to sit for a while? Now, not Kenny Pickett because he's 28 years old, but
not any time recently. Trey Lance could have played last year. He was just behind Jimmy Garoppolo.
Mm-hmm.
Name me the last quarterback that went in the top 10 that you drafted him with the intention of him sitting behind somebody.
Oh, I can't.
I'm going through it now, and it gets really – I mean, Pat Mahomes, he went at 10.
Right. He sat behind Alex Smith.
For a year. And even then, it got really loud in Kansas City really quickly. But now compare the talent on these quarterbacks. Pat Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, Baker, Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, Josh Rosen, Kyler Murray, Joe Burrow, Tua Tagovailoa, Justin Herbert, Kenny Pickett. One of those does not seem to fit to me.
Well, I agree.
And you've got a coach that's got 1 foot in the grave and 1 foot on a banana peel. So, best case scenario, your absolute best case scenario, you bring in Kenny Pickett, you do what? 9-8?
Yeah, something like that.
The most colored glasses is even going to go, it's 9-8.
Right.
And we slip into the playoffs. And you keep Matt Rule for another year, the guy that you absolutely want out of the building, and David Tepper only kept around to keep from looking like a dum-dum. And that's striking you as a win in any way?
No.
What is the best Kenny Pickett can be in the NFL? He can be a top blank quarterback.
20. Maybe.
And you're thinking of taking that at 6. Because we just need a change. That is, without a doubt, top 5 stupidest thing I've ever been told in my life. We need a change. Stop. You roll this out with Darnold. You take the lineman at 6. Or you trade down. I know they would love to trade down. Nobody's trading up. I mean, to trade up, to get up to 6, somebody would have to be trying to snipe the Giants, who would have just picked in front of you. So whoever they really wanted, they took at 5. Ike Ekwonu, if he's there. I would argue Sauce Gardner, if he's there. He won't be.
Evan Neal.
Maybe. Evan Neal seems to be I think he's been completely passed by Ekwonu and Charles Cross.
Really?
That is the take I'm getting, is that it looks like he's going to be sitting there at 9 for Seattle.
Wow.
So you take Cross. Now the line is built. You've got the weapons. DJ's locked up for a while. You still got McCaffrey under contract for a while. And then you go into next year, because there's only 2 alternatives. You do get that, right? If you do what I'm saying here, there's only 2 alternatives to how next year goes. Either Darnold shows that I'm right, and behind a better offensive line with the weapons and the defense being what it is, he looks like a guy that was deserving of the 3rd pick 4 years ago. Or it's an absolute abject disaster. You're picking in the top 10 next year, and you have a new coach who can draft his own quarterback.
Right. And then you get a shot at one of these young guys, Bryce Young or Spencer
who, by the way,
Rattler.
I'm not as sold on. Stop with Spencer Rattler. Spencer Rattler.
CJ Stroud.
What are we drafting in the USFL now?
That's one of his trigger words.
Oh, good.
Spencer Rattler is a trigger for him.
Oh, I've been so right about him.
Not until the Gamecocks win the championship this year.
Of what?
Of it all. They're going to win the whole thing.
They might win the South Carolina East Coast Cup. Hey, you beat the Citadel and Coastal Carolina.
Congratulations.
Good for you.
Yeah, you go from being the 4th best team in your state to being the 2nd best team in your state.
And you go to Gainesville, Florida, and get shellacked as you have many times before.
Right. Never know.
But that's the thing I can't wrap my head around, is there's no path to this works out the way you want it to.
Well, I don't know.
You're either going to wind up with a quarterback you don't want, or you're going to end up with a coach you don't want. Fact or fiction?
Well, and then there's that other option of you take Kenny Pickett and Sam sucks. And then about 5 games, 6 games in, you decide, let's throw Kenny out there.
And then Kenny's a disaster.
Sucks.
And now
then,
you're sitting here like,
right.
Well, this is going to be a tough sell. We have 2 quarterbacks that nobody wants.
Right. And then you have to pull the Josh Rosen. Then you have to pull the Arizona Cardinals of next year we're picking 2, and we're going to have to take C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young, whichever one's left. And what are you going to do with the guy you just drafted at 6 the year before?
Sloan Jordan said in the comments, coastal slander will not be tolerated here, Beard. Proud alum, 2nd best program in the state. You're 100% right. I'll be honest with you, if South Carolina played Coastal Carolina right now, they'd get slaughtered. Especially with Spencer Rattler. Oh, man, that's going to be hubris comes shortly before the fall. That is going to be fun for me to sit back and watch. Oh, we're so good now. Are you, though? I don't think you are.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun season. But, I mean, I understand the thought process behind it. I don't agree with it by any stretch.
To me, there is no path
they
that this
shouldn't take a quarterback.
To me, there's no path that this goes the correct way. None. I mean, you forecast this out 1,000 different ways.
By taking a quarterback.
Yeah.
Right.
And John DeLone in the comments said Kenny Pickett can be a decent starter and a good backup. That's exactly right. You know what where you don't take that guy? 6. And you're not getting out of 6. Let's say you found a trade partner. Do you realize how far you would have to go back to make Kenny Pickett make even the vaguest bit of sense? I mean, I'm talking back into the mid-20s before it's not just a total reach.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, you're not tied to the guy. If he comes in, he's behind Darnold. You bring in a new coach that you're all in on, and he wants C.J. Stroud next year. Hey, you remember that Jordan Love thing we were just talking about?
Yep.
That in reverse.
Yep.
Now you have the backup that you picked at wherever you took him.
Mm-hmm.
There's just no path that makes any sense. And it's what's so funny to me of how people go so overboard when they get out on a quarterback.
Oh, yeah, because once
and I'm at the same point with Jordan Love that I am with Sam Darnold. Of you do realize he still has value, right? Like, to me, Jordan Love, greater than Kenny Pickett, and it ain't even all that close.
Okay.
By the way, he's younger than Kenny Pickett, just so we're clear. Which is funny to say out loud.
But the Green Bay Packers, no doubt, have to do something or should do something with Jordan Love. That's your point.
Well, I mean, because next year you're going to have no shot. Next year, there will actually be quarterbacks that teams are in love with.
Mm-hmm.
Teams are going to fall hard for C.J. Stroud. They're going to fall hard for Bryce Young. I mean, and there are other guys in it. Sam Hartman at Wake Forest. DJ Uiagalelei, if he were to turn it around at Clemson this year, because he has prototypical NFL size. I mean, there are a lot of quarterbacks. And look, I'm not in love with the class. We got a whole season to go. And I'll be honest with you, they would have to crash into the rocks to be worse than this year.
Right.
So you're holding on to this asset, and I can't figure out why. Well, we're not getting what we want. Oh, okay. You can get what you can get now, or you can get nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny to me. I watch these guys. It's almost like when when the ship sails on a player, it completely sails.
Oh, yeah, we're done.
When you're done, you're done.
Mm-hmm.
Like Sam Darnold has all of a sudden become Josh Rosen. You get how stupid that is, right? Oh, he's not a 60% completion guy. He spent 3 years where his number one receiver was Robbie Anderson, and he was coached by Adam Googly Eyes Goober Gase.
Mm-hmm.
Name me the quarterback that's ever worked with Adam Gase. And I'll be honest with you, I could say the same thing about Matt Rule. It's just a much smaller sample size.
Right.
But, and they're terrible. They're I wouldn't give you a 7th-round conditional pick. Stop.
Nope. And they all fall into that category for fans. Marcus Mariota, Mitch Trubisky, the guys that are starting right now for these quarterback-needy teams, they're all people that everybody's given up on. Everybody's given up on Marcus Mariota, and that's why they go, well, that has to be Malik Willis.
Tyler Cunningham in our YouTube comment said, first of all, he is a draft nerd like me. I think he actually does it by profession as opposed to just an addendum onto your profession like I do. Whatever your opinion about this quarterback draft class is, it shows me your football IQ. I agree with you wholeheartely. You can have one that you really like. Mm-hmm. By the time you get to 2 or 3, I'm like, you're not very good at this, are you? And I really don't care who the one is. You can be in love with Malik Willis. You're going to have to get me past a slew of yeah-buts.
Mm-hmm.
You can be in love with Sam Howell. I want to say you could be in love with Desmond Ridder, but I don't think you could be. You like him, and in the right system, if you completely do a Baltimore Raven and just contour the whole offense to him.
Right.
I mean, I like Desmond Ridder with the New York Giants. I like him nowhere else because I have seen Brian Daboll take a quarterback that has accuracy issues with a big arm that's big and athletic and turn him into Josh Allen.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do I think it's risky? Yes, I do. Do I want to see you do it with anything earlier than that first, second-round pick of yours? No, I don't. But that I can get by with.
Yeah. John DeLone in the comments says Matt Corral is the only one that he likes.
And that's I was getting ready to get to that.
Oh, okay.
If you're an Atlanta Falcon type guy, and offensively you want your offense to look like the Atlanta Falcons, I can understand how you fell in love with Matt Corral. I don't understand how you fall in love with 2 or 3 of them. Like, I just don't get it. I said this from Jump Street in this draft class. This is beauty is in the eye of the beholder to the highest extreme. You can love one. You get into those other guys, you are a Tank Spencer grading on the curve kind of person, aren't you? Everybody gets a B. You showed up, and I respect that.
I don't want to condemn it before I've seen it. Unless you're Jordan Love, and then I feel like
Which is the reason that you could never be a scout. No. I don't want to say he can't play until I have seen him not be. That's not how this works.
No, I'm not. So that's why you do the draft scouting stuff, and I just do the tap dancing.
Because I'm a jerk, and I can sit here and go, that kid couldn't play dead. If he was a corpse in a true crime movie, he could not play dead. He would blink. Right. Why did that corpse blink? Oh, it's Jordan Love. Can't play dead.
Baker Mayfield's another one of those. Baker Mayfield's another one that we have seen, and now that every team has turned their back on making a deal for Baker
Johnny
Mayfield.
Johnny Manziel somehow.
Right. And he's not that bad. The problem is he's not as bad as Johnny Manziel.
No.
That's what I was saying.
He's not as big a train wreck as Johnny Manziel. Sheer talent, Johnny Manziel had talent.
Mm-hmm.
He also really liked doing crimes.
He did. But Baker Mayfield, now that every team has turned their back and said no, now he's dead.
Johnny.
Now he's dead to us as fans in the NFL.
Johnny Bottle Service Football Manziel.
Don't forget to cast your vote before the end of the show in the most overrated bands bracket. We got Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band taking on the Rolling Stones. Right now it's 66% in favor of the Boss to face off against
looking
U2 in the championship.
It's looking like this is the end of the run for the Easter Bunny.
Yeah, as it should be. Rolling Stones with only 34% support as being more overrated than Bruce Springsteen. You only got a few more minutes to vote. Go to the Sportsocracy.com, click on that live video link, hit the subscribe button, cast your vote now.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is slow, 26 westbound between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 26 on the eastbound side, light delays between the French Broad River and the Blue Ridge Parkway. Haywood County, 40 westbound stop and go between Fines Creek Road and Harmon Den Road. Sweeten Creek Road northbound between Cedar Lane and Mills Gap Road is slow. An accident in the stretch. Hendersonville Road moving incident-free. NC 191 north and southbound in the McDowell Creek area near McDowell Road, traffic is slowing. And near Saluda, Highway 176 Spartanburg Highway delays approaching Camp Creek Road, both directions. I'm Lyndon Phil with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by COVIDclinic.org. No trip planning is complete without a visit to COVID Clinic. With multiple locations, there's one nearby with the quick and convenient patient testing you need to keep everyone around you safe. Find a location in your area at COVIDclinic.org.
There are so many words to describe Panera's new Chef's Chicken sandwiches. The chicken, juicy, succulent, seared. The brioche roll, buttery and toasty. The Parmesan crisps, crunchy, tangy. The secret aioli, creamy and rich. All those words. But when you have a bite, you might just be left speechless. Panera's new Chef's Chicken sandwiches. Enjoy $1 delivery fee when you order on our app. Restrictions apply. For details, visit panerabread.com/delivery info.
Do you want the best for your car? Then fill up with premium at Circle K. Circle K Premium is our best fuel with double the cleaning detergent, protecting your engine from corrosion and damage so it can work at its best. And that, my friend, increases your mileage for more cha-ching in your pocket. Plus, when you fill up with premium at Circle K, you can save up to 20 cents per gallon. Offer valid Thursdays or Fridays at participating stores. For details, visit CircleK.com. Circle K. How convenient.
Starting stronger starts at AutoZone, where they've got battery solutions in the form of free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes them America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
To some, a baby's babbling doesn't mean much, but it does. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
This is a metaphor for your business's journey. Sometimes it feels like the world is throwing everything it has at you. And to succeed, you need someone to guide you through. That's what Dell Technologies advisors do. They have the Windows PCs and tech advice to help you navigate whatever challenges you're up against and get you safely to where you want to be. Call an advisor today at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL. A start to a simpler experience with Windows 11 Pro.
I'm John Gonzalez, the host of SI's new podcast, Sports Illustrated Weekly. Sports Illustrated has delivered some of the best storytelling in sports for 70 years. And now that continues on our show. Each week, we'll dive deep into the best stories from around the sports world. We'll ask the questions that we're all wondering and push for the answers we all want. Sports Illustrated Weekly is available every Wednesday on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe now.
Professional women's tennis is coming back to Harrah's Cherokee Center, Asheville, April 15th and 16th. Tickets are on sale now at USTA.com/BJKC. Get your tickets and see Team USA women's tennis in this exciting match, April 15th and 16th.
At Ingles, we know your closest companions are the ones who are always there for you. The ones you trust to have your back, no matter what. Who make the hard times a little softer, and the good ones, somehow, a little better.
This week at Ingles, select sizes and varieties Kellogg's Townhouse or Club Crisp crackers, 2 for $5. Select sizes and varieties Starbucks coffee, $7.98 each. And select sizes and varieties General Mills cereal, 2 for $5. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy. It's time for Jeremy to make us some more money. We got play-in games in the NBA.
Well, here's the thing. After what could only be described as a hubris comes shortly before the fall, run through the Final Four, our bankroll's getting pretty low.
Oh, no.
So that means you got two choices as a gambler. You can either try to nickel and dime your way back, or you can go all in, and I'm going all in tonight. I got 50 on it, under 230 between the Clippers and the Minnesota Timberwolves. I have said this time and time and time again. When you get to playoff time, defense matters more. You look at the Clippers, they don't allow a lot of transition fast break points. I don't think this number's taking that into account. I think this game's going to stay close, but I think both teams play slower than you would think. I got 50 on it, under 230 between the Clippers and the Timberwolves. Next, I got 50 on it, under 229.5 between the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Brooklyn Nets. This is one big thing. I think the Brooklyn Nets are absolutely going to slaughter them without Jared Allen. Mm-hmm. I just don't know how you're going to stop anybody. You got Lauri Markkanen on Kevin Durant. Good luck with that. I don't think this game's ever going to be close. That number is counterintuitive to what Vegas set this number at. I don't see how you're going 230 or higher in a game that's a 10-point spread, and I like the high side of it. I got 50 on it, under 229.5 between the Cavaliers and the Brooklyn Nets. Finally, I got 100 on it. The LA Clippers win outright in the money line at plus 140. If I hit all of these, we will be back to almost where we started with the playoffs ahead. No more who's going to play. No more this team cares and this team doesn't. It's all on the line, and I'll be back to where I started.
We hope that works out for you. You can take those wagers over to betus.com. Use the promo code Sportsocracy and get a 125% deposit bonus on whatever you put in, up to $2,500.
Yeah, if it doesn't, then we will be having to do a rebuy on Thursday when we reconvene for this here program.
Right. A couple of news tidbits real quick. Luka Doncic looks like he's got a sprain, and so he
strained calf.
Yeah, so he may miss the first game of their series.
And then you actually meant that.
Steph Curry with a foot issue. He might miss the first game of the Nuggets series.
Oh, wait. Sorry. That okay. Laughter is that you think either one of those guys are going to miss a game in the playoffs where they are basically all their teams have.
Hey, that's what they're trying to throw out right now. There's uncertain futures for some of the NBA teams. So we do have Braves baseball right here on ESPN Asheville tonight, also tomorrow afternoon. So no Sportsocracy tomorrow afternoon here on ESPN Asheville.
All the mock drafts across the YouTube channel. Go to youtube.com/thesportsocracy to see them all.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Still a chance for a couple of showers here as we head through this evening. Otherwise, look for partly to mostly cloudy skies here tonight. Temperatures drop down into the upper part of the 50s. We'll be in and out of the clouds on Wednesday. It'll be breezy and unseasonably mild south winds gusting to 10 to 20 miles per hour at times. Tomorrow, highs mid-70s. Chance of showers again Wednesday night into Thursday. Even a few rumbles of thunder. Highs Thursday mid-60s. I'm meteorologist Ken Boone at the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Walmart. Ready to live healthier this spring? Walmart can help you get there. Stop by their Wellness Day event on Saturday, April 23rd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. to check your blood pressure, glucose, and more for free. Live healthier, live better. Check out Walmart Wellness Day on April 23rd.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is slow, 26 westbound between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 26 on the eastbound side, light delays between the French Broad River and the Blue Ridge Parkway. Haywood County, 40 westbound stop and go between Vines Creek Road and Harmon Den Road. Sweeten Creek Road northbound between Cedar Lane and Mills Gap Road is slow. An accident in the stretch. Hendersonville Road moving incident-free. NC 191 north and southbound in the McDowell Creek area near McDowell Road, traffic is slowing. And near Saluda, Highway 176 Spartanburg Highway delays approaching Camp Creek Road both directions. I'm Lyndon Phil with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. If your company needs to spring into efficient hiring, then check out Indeed. Their powerful hiring platform makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.